Good evening, I'm Prasad Michael and you're watching Kini News, the show that brings you today's biggest stories. All eyes will be on Umno Supreme Council meeting tonight, but before that, let's take a look at what took place earlier today at PWTC as BN MPs gathered to discuss what to do next. BN lawmakers today held a meeting at the UMNO headquarters in Kuala Lumpur, a day after the Yang di-Pertuan Agong rejected the proposal brought by Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin to declare a state of emergency. BN's meeting also comes a day after the Perikatan Nasional Cabinet held an informal meeting at Muhyiddin Yassin's home last night in a bid to re-strategize after the Agong's rejection of the emergency request. Speaking to reporters at the lobby of Menara Dato' On this afternoon, Deputy Communications and Multimedia Minister Zahidi Zainul Abidin had this to say about the meeting this afternoon.
Today meeting, if any doubt, so we can ask everything.
So this is meeting related following the
related and a lot of things.
Okay, what are the agenda like?
There's nothing.
I mean, they were
the situation now. So we have a meeting about the situation now. So about the declaration, what's their opinion about the COVID-19, then how we want to move, then how we want to help the people. Today we got a meeting. What's the our strategy to help the people, everything.
Zahidi also disagreed with his colleague and UMNO Supreme Council member Muhammad Puat Zakarshi's call for Muhyiddin to resign after failing to get consent from the ruler on the proposed state of emergency.
No, I don't think so, because why we heard what the king said. So no political agenda, everything, but to help the people only. That's what we are meeting today, just to help the people. And like itu we discuss lah. If anything we got problem with Bersatu, with Tan Sri Muhyiddin, we can discuss, we can solve the problem by discussion. Okay?
I'm not still with Tan Sri Muhyiddin.
Yeah, we still with Tan Sri Muhyiddin.
Former Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak, UMNO veteran MP Tengku Razali Hamzah, Dewan Rakyat Deputy Speaker and Pengerang MP Azalina Othman and Pasir Salah MP Tajuddin Abdul Rahman were all seen at the venue. Meanwhile, UMNO President Ahmad Zahid Hamidi is expected to chair the party's Supreme Council meeting tonight. So while Zahidi said BN was still backing Muhyiddin Yassin, after the meeting ended, several other more prominent BN MPs spoke to the press to give a clearer picture on what happened during the meeting. The UMNO Supreme Council meeting, which is expected to take place tonight, is set to decide on a range of issues, including the suggestions and views expressed by BN lawmakers at the meeting earlier today. Among the views expressed by MPs was for BN to renegotiate its position in the Perikatan Nasional government and to reject cooperation with Anwar Ibrahim and DAP.
Kita tak buat apa-apa keputusan. Kita cuma mendapatkan pandangan daripada ahli-ahli parlimen Barisan Nasional tentang pendirian kita dan hala tuju yang patut dijadikan sebagai ketetapan parti. Bagaimanapun keputusan muktamad akan dibuat oleh Majlis Tertinggi pada malam ini. Ini kita sekadar buat pencambahan fikiran, mendengar pandangan di kalangan ahli parlimen, dan sebagai ahli parti kita tertakluk kepada keputusan parti dan kita pegang pada prinsip macam mana pun UMNO tak boleh berpecah.
When quizzed on whether BN MPs discussed if Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin should step down, Hishamuddin Hussain had this to say.
No decision because it was just latest developments.
But did the MP really raise the issue for PM to step down?
No, I think we discussed how to move forward.
Okay.
We had Supreme Council meeting, and then the Komisi Perhubungan are also meeting today. Let them go through the meetings. I just had cabinet this morning. Today is with all the MPs in the end. I think we have to find a way forward. Whatever decisions that we make, it must be on the basis of what is good for the rakyat and for the country.
The meetings come in the wake of the Yang di-Pertuan Agong yesterday rejecting Muhyiddin's proposal to declare a state of emergency due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Muhyiddin, who became Prime Minister through a political coup, dubbed the Sheraton move, is facing the possibility of a counter-coup. Malaysia is perhaps just a day away from reaching the 10,000 mark for active cases, especially with the number reported today. Malaysia reported the highest number of daily cases ever recorded today, with 1,240 new COVID-19 cases, with 2 of those being imported cases. Most of the cases, 927 to be exact, were reported in Sabah. This puts the number of active cases at 9,744. With 7 new deaths reported today, all in Sabah, the COVID-19 death toll in the state alone has reached 105, or 44.5% of the total national death toll of 236. While Sabah still leads the new case count, the Klang Valley territories reported 194 new cases, while neighbouring Negeri Sembilan reported 25 new cases.
Hari ini contohnya kita data yang paling tertinggi iaitu 1,240 kes. Dan kita telah jangkakan, iaitu unjuran kita telah menunjuk, iaitu kes-kes akan meningkat 1,000 kes dalam tempoh masa terdekat. Jadi mungkin selepas 31 Oktober, kita tak ada 3 digit dah, kita dah 4 digit. Melainkan kalau kita dapat turunkan, iaitu R0 kurang daripada 1, baru kita akan melihat perkembangan. Dalam unjuran kita, mungkin dalam tempoh 4 minggu, barulah kita dapat turunkan 4 digit kepada 3 digit.
If you're hoping for the CMCO in KL, Selangor and Putrajaya to be lifted at midnight, I'm going to have to burst your bubble. The Conditional Movement Control Order in Selangor, Kuala Lumpur and Putrajaya have been extended with a new deadline set for November 9th. Senior Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob made the announcement during a press conference this evening, several hours before it was set to expire at midnight.
Mengambil kira penilaian risiko terhadap penularan wabak ini, maka hari ini kerajaan bersetuju untuk melanjutkan perintah PKPB, Perintah Kawalan Pergerakan Bersyarat di wilayah Persekutuan Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya dan Selangor selama 14 hari lagi.
Meanwhile, a new CMCO location was announced today in Negeri Sembilan.
Sidang hari ini juga mendengar pengesahan daripada Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia KKM berhubung kes peningkatan COVID-19 di dalam kalangan warga asing di zon nilai. Selepas nilai Negeri Sembilan nilai Negeri Sembilan. Selepas mendapat nasihat daripada KKM dan mengambil kira peningkatan kes COVID-19 di lokaliti ini, sidang khas MKN hari ini bersetuju untuk melaksanakan Perintah Kawalan Pergerakan Bersyarat PKPB di zon nilai Negeri Sembilan yang berkuat kuasa pada 28 Oktober 2020 sehingga 10 November 2020.
An enhanced MCO will also be enforced in Putra Point Nilai on Jalan BBN 1/7B, Jalan BBN 1/7F and Jalan BBN 1/2E. Who is responsible for the state of politics in the country today? If you ask one deputy minister, he'll tell you it's not politicians who are to be blamed. Deputy Communications and Multimedia Minister Zahidi Zainul Abidin told reporters today that politicians should not be blamed for the current instability in the country. The Umno lawmaker who spoke to reporters after the meeting among BNMPs said Malaysians who voted in the 2018 general election are ultimately responsible for the current political situation. Zahidi said this in response to a question on the contents of the meeting at PWTC this afternoon.
Tetapi keadaan sekarang ni 50-50. So pelabur tak akan datang. Ekonomi negara kurang baik. Dan yang buat keadaan begini ni rakyat. Rakyat yang undi 50-50 ni, yang undi dulu ni. Dan rakyat undi dahulu kerana rakyat kena tipu. Tak? Masalahnya PTPN tak bayar-bayar, tol percuma. Tak? GST harga turun barang, kalau SST turun barang. Tapi benda tu tak berlaku semua. Rakyat yang buat keputusan tu. Keadaan hari ini rakyat yang buat keputusan tersebut. Orang politik ni hanya nak betulkan keadaan saja. So how kita nak betulkan keadaan? Ini yang kita patut bagi pandangan.
When quizzed on whether BNMPs expressed support for Muhyiddin to remain as Prime Minister during the meeting, he had this to say.
Kita sekarang ni kita bincang apa yang terbaik untuk rakyat. Sebab tu saya kata tadi, ni rakyat, keadaan ni rakyat jangan salah ahli politik. Sebab yang keadaan wujud keadaan ni kerana undi rakyat dulu kena tipu, dia undi macam tu. Dulu tak nak hilang pekerjaan zaman BN pemerintah. Tidak ada apa, selamat. Pekerjaan tak hilang, ekonomi maju. Sekarang ni bila keadaan yang macam ni, seorang yang sebut nak jadi Perdana Menteri dah turun RM2 duit.
Zahidi said this after BNMPs concluded their meeting today, a day after the Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Abdullah Sultan Ahmad Shah reminded politicians to stop politicking and destabilizing the country. His Majesty had also decided not to accede to Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin's request to declare a state of emergency. Proponents of the emergency move had said it was necessary to combat COVID-19. But critics claimed Muhyiddin was trying to cling on to power amid fears that rebels within the government could turn on him during the Budget 2021 vote next month. The ruler, in the statement, appears to discourage any such move. His Majesty stressed that the Budget 2021, which will be tabled in Parliament, is of utmost importance to the people in combating COVID-19 and reviving the economy. Coming up next, the leaders of France and Turkey continue to lock horns. Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan delivered his second sharp criticism of Emmanuel Macron in just days. Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan said on Sunday Emmanuel Macron had lost his way in his second sharp criticism of the French leader in 2 days over the treatment of Muslims. On Sunday, Erdogan said Macron had a problem with Muslims and needed mental checks.
Şu son zamanlarda Fransa'nın
The person in charge of France has lost his way recently.
şaşırmış. Yatıyor, kalkıyor,
He goes on
Erdoğan.
about Erdogan all day.
Ya önce sen kendine bir bak.
Look at yourself first and where you are going.
Dün Kayseri'de de söyledim. Bu bir vaka.
As I said in Kayseri yesterday, he is a case and he really must be checked up.
Kontrolden geçmesi lazım.
The French leader this month declared war on Islamic separatism, which he believes is taking over some Muslim communities in France. France has since been shaken by the beheading of a teacher by an Islamist militant, avenging the use of cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad in a class on freedom of expression. NATO members Turkey and France have been at loggerheads over several issues. Macron's office said on Sunday France had gathered its European partners who share France's demand that Turkey put a stop to its dangerous adventures in the Mediterranean and in the region. It said Erdogan had 2 months to respond or face measures, noting the absence of a condolence message from Turkey's leader after the history teacher's death last week. Meanwhile, France has recalled its ambassador from Ankara following Erdogan's statement. Lee Kun-hee, the charismatic leader of Samsung Group, died on Sunday. Lee Kun-hee, the charismatic leader of Samsung Group, died on Sunday. South Korea's biggest conglomerate said Lee died with his family by his side, including his son, Samsung Vice Chairman J.Y. Lee. The news comes 6 years after he was hospitalized for a heart attack. Lee, who was 78, helped grow his father's noodle trading business into a powerhouse of affiliates. During his lifetime, Samsung Electronics developed from a second-tier TV maker to the world's biggest technology firm by revenue. But he was also convicted of bribery and tax evasion, and his empire was criticized for wielding huge economic clout. His death leaves the South Korean family-controlled conglomerate with thorny succession issues. On Sunday, Samsung Group heir J.Y. Lee arrived at the funeral hall for a memorial. And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'll be back with more tomorrow. Same time, same place. I'm Prasad Michael. Thank you for watching.